As we get the lights now, 3, 4, 5. And it's lights out and away we go for the OBF1 Season 4 Grand Opener as little Jim gets a brilliant start here. Oh, but Cairo goes down the inside and makes a brilliant move, but he goes a little bit wide and Jim retakes the lead of the US Grand Prix. There's a lot of battling going on in the background now. Oh, my apologies, guys. As there's no contact, so very good racing from these lots. For the move. As the drivers come along, he's not quite close enough for the move. There is a little bit of battling going on in the background as the two Red Bulls battling it out, both teammates. As Paul gets the move on Snitzy here. As Boris does get the move on Mr. Series, wheel to wheel here. Can Boris get the move on Mr. Series? He does brilliantly, gets the move done on Mr. Series there, up into P7. It's the commentator's curse, as these two are battling out. Mr. Series does get the move on Boris here. These two battling it out for P7. Brilliant move from the Alfa Romeo driver and Mr. Series here. As the Red Bulls battle it again at that corner. Third lap as Boris gets the move done on CDM here. Oh, they come a little bit close to each other there, but luckily no contact, I believe so. As CDM, as we do have a spun George. No, my apologies, Marshall. Not sure what happened there in the background. As CDM and Boris battling in here, he will get the DRS, and he will make the switch back. Can CDM defend his position now? He does defend his position, but here's CDM close wheel to wheel now. Going down into sector 2, but close behind is George in the Alpine. He's right up CDM's rear end now, so he's looking to defend from an Alpine driver and an Haas driver with a controversial livery, but we won't lose. As we have a yellow flag for an CDM! Oh, he's spun! CDM has spun! Luckily to not which Paul is closing in on CDM here. He's thinking about making a move. Will he get the move? He does get the move done, but can CDM get the switch back? No, we can also. Brilliant move by the Red Bull driver there on the Mercedes driver to move up into P8. As George does overtake FDH up into P10. Luckily, Snitzy does not collide with any drivers there. As Paul goes up into P2, there's a massive battle from Jim here with the overtake on El Shahal. He does get the move done on El Shahal there, up into P3 onto the podium. So we got another. As Jim does get the move on Paul here, but Paul fights back. As Mr. Series does get the move, can FDH battle back and get the switch back? No, brilliant move by Mr. Series in the Alfa Romeo to make the position up. As we have a Mercedes of CDM, he has spun it again! Oh, CDM, what are you doing? Why are you doing Mr. Spin here for? CDM, naughty naughty. Yeah, as Paul does, as we got another yellow flag. CDM, what are you doing? Going for a nice spin, are we? As Jim will get DRS here of Paul. He is closing in now. He opens his rear wing now. He's thinking about making the move. Will he get the switch back on him? He does. He absolutely flies past him. And they go wheel to wheel as well. So brilliant move by the Alfa Romeo driver there to make the move. And they go wheel to wheel here. They absolutely do not give any space to each other here. This is exciting as a commentator. I'm enjoying this. as Jim does get the move on. So it's on up for the Ferrari drivers. As Paul's closing in again. As these two will battle it out. As Paul does, can Jim get the switch back? No, he cannot. He cannot get the switch back, but he's only 1/10 behind as they go wheel to wheel. Coming down into turn 3 here. Ah, look at this. This is a brilliant battle between these two here. It's brilliant to see them up in Tier 1. As Cairo Racing does get the move on CDM there at the back of the field. As we have a spun. Wow. Yellow flag for the Mercedes driver who's just spinning around. He's just doing Mr. Series P3, so he's having a wonderful race here. He's made up a lot of positions in this race, but not too far as Mr. Series looking to get that podium position off him. As we come down to... Oh, as George has spun, Mr. Series absolutely brilliant there to avoid evasive action. That was brilliant from Mr. Series to avoid action there. So not sure what happened with George there. It's the commentator's curse, I tell you. Now in Tier 1, proving why they should be in Tier 1. As George, not sure why. I think he just lost a bit of traction there. Not sure why that happened, but I believe he lost some traction there coming out of the final few corners. CDM might get disqualified at this rate, and he has retired. I believe that was, not sure. As Jim does control the field now, and we are back under green flag as George sets off with a 3-second time penalty. Very unfortunate there for him. Will he make the move? We go wheel to wheel. He does keep it clean there. As Jim is almost 1.4 seconds ahead there. As George and AGM battling it out at the back of the field right now. As Cairo and George are battling it out again. They keep it clean on track as George and Cairo go wheel to wheel. Oh, he does push him a little bit wide there, George. But Cairo does get the position back there. As they come back again to each other. He's thinking about making a move. Does he make the move down, going down into turn 1? No, he does not. As George does get the move on Cairo there. Marshall and George, they're both Alpine drivers. Unfortunate for George as he was battling for podium but had that unfortunate spin as he's cutting across the track. Luckily not to take any. As we look at the penalties, George has 15 seconds so he will finish P11, but speaking of which, Marcus does get the move done here. He does get the move done here on Paul here, brilliant move. Brilliant. But it's all about this guy who has a brilliant start to the season. And it's looking really good for him here. As we have a yellow flag. But it can only be won by one. And Jim will win the Season 4 OBF1 Round 1 US Grand Prix for Tier 1. Brilliant there. As Mr. C. Reese gets P2 here, and El Shahal. So penalties playing a vital part here. So it is an Alfa Romeo P1 and P2. But also, speaking of which, it will be an Alpha Tower P3 and P4.